Hey guys, Logan here with Presently Impermanent, and in this video we're going to be talking about why your dream life is not here. Your dream life is not here because you are too comfortable. You are in the quicksand that is comfort. And I've had comfort many times in my life, and what I've come to realize is in order for me to perform at the highest level, the level at which God knows I can perform at, I've had to put systems in place, but also understand myself to the level in which I know when I'm bullshitting myself. And what I'm beginning to realize as my ability to bullshit myself is falling at the wayside, it'll never go away because our egos and our minds are so capable of trying to keep us in comfort. But as I get better at catching it and challenging myself to go to the next level, I'm beginning to see it more and more and more in clients I work with and in just general people that I have interactions with, as well as friends. And I think the hardest thing for me as a person where I am now is seeing people who have big dreams, because we all have dreams. There's some people who are content in life, and that's okay. I don't think those people are necessarily like stuck in comfort. Some people are just simple and they just enjoy simple lives and they're programmed differently. I'm talking about people who have big dreams and they know that they're actually meant to be a big person and they're not moving forward. I've seen this time and time again. I saw it first when I was a nurse. I had massive dreams. I've always had big dreams. I've always known I was going to do big things. But I had a lot of doubt. And it took me continuing to work on myself to understand that I'm meant to be big and to accept that and to accept that I already am big. But for a lot of people, like I saw as a nurse, when I made the decision that I was going to move abroad, I told people, they said, "Where are you moving?" And I'm like, "I'm moving to Colombia." They're like, "The state?" I'm like, "No, the country." They're like, "You're going to come back though, right? In a couple of weeks?" I'm like, "No, I'm moving there." They're like, "What do you mean you're moving there?" I'm like, "I'm quitting my job and I'm moving there." They're like, "You can't do that." I'm like, well, I am doing it, so what does that mean? And the look of shock on their face. And the interesting thing was, the person that did tell me I couldn't do it was the person that I worked with. She was a respiratory therapist. She was the person who so badly wanted to live the life I was about to live. So she told me, "You can't do that," because she was actually speaking in a mirror. She was speaking to herself. It was a projection. And there were so many people that I met in the nursing profession where I saw, when I would speak to them, they would tell me the things that they essentially wanted to do, and then they would always put some limitation on it, like, "Oh yeah, you're still so young and you get to travel so much. Enjoy it while you can," or "I'm too old to go and stay at a place like that." They'd say all of these things, but then you could also feel the underlying energy that there's an unfulfilled desire. And all these people would need to do is understand that there's an unfulfilled desire and then go fulfill it. Like, I've always wanted to live abroad, and I've always wanted to learn another language. I now speak Spanish and Portuguese. I've lived in Colombia, I've lived in Brazil. I'm currently in Toronto. This life was created because I told myself I'm no longer going to allow myself to stay in my comfort zone. Was I scared? Absolutely. I was freaked out beyond belief, petrified. But that didn't stop me from selling my car, selling my carbon fiber road bike, selling my $3,000 mattress that I loved and got the best sleep of my life ever in. I sold it for like $800 on Craigslist. I sold all my stuff, but that mattress I almost cried over. All of that stuff was painful, but it wasn't as painful as me not stepping into my power. And so my intention with this video is to wake the people up who, you know, you're meant to be big, but you're not doing anything. I know people right now, they're super smart. They have so much wisdom. They're smarter than 99.9% of the world in the population. But they haven't written a book. They haven't gone out and moved to another place. A lot of the people I know have lived in the same city their whole entire life. And all of that stuff's okay. Like, people don't have to write books. They don't need to make a YouTube channel. They don't have to start a business. But the people who want to do that, who aren't doing it, you have to start. You have to do it. You have to wake up every day and choose yourself. You have to choose yourself over the bad feelings that you have. Because essentially the process of becoming successful is really just a process of you cleaning up your garbage that's telling you you're not enough. And that's telling you you're not connected to God. Because when you're truly connected to God, you're perfect. In His eyes and in your own. But when you have all of these doubts and fears, you're disconnected. And I'm really trying to empathize, because I'm not speaking from a place of I'm better than anyone. I still have a long way to go, but I'm comfortable in the journey now. I woke up today at 4:48 a.m. because I was inspired to go get some work done, and that's why I'm shooting this video. And I can't tell you the amount of days that I've slept in, the amount of days that I've felt like a piece of garbage because I didn't get work done that I knew deep down I needed to get done. But the act of me facing that every day and having to go through those feelings is actually an act of courage. Because a lot of people that I know and talk to, their feelings and their desires are so suppressed that they don't even know they're there. When you know that you have the desires and you need to take action, and you have to sit with the tension of you not taking action and feeling bad and all of these things, that actually starts creating space. And when you have enough space, you can start moving in between that space, and you can start taking a little bit of action here, a little bit of action there. Some of the clients I work with related to health, a lot of them have a really hard time because when they get started, they want to jump right into like the big things. Like, everyone wants to jump into the sexy stuff. Like, let's start making some money, or let's get some parasites out of our body. But nobody wants to do the stuff that's actually going to get you the most results. Like, the stuff that gets you the most results right now with my YouTube channels, the stuff that's going to get me the most results is actually posting a lot of content. Obviously, the content needs to be good, but the more I post, the better I get. Whereas before, I used to spend a lot of money and a lot of time trying to get the perfect video, the perfect thumbnails, the perfect titles, to the point where I would spend a whole week doing like 2 videos, and within a year I did about 88 videos, and I had one video go viral out of all of those with a ton of effort. Versus now, it's like I post a video every day, 2 shorts every day, and it's less effort for me, and I'm getting way more done. And that amount of volume, that's 365 videos over 88 videos. Who do you think's gonna win between those two? The 88 videos could do very well because of all the research and stuff. But the real research comes in actually waking up and doing the work every day. The real research comes from me defeating the voices in my head that tell me I can't do it. And so I think the biggest thing I want to say to those of you who are still on this video is you probably don't want it enough. You probably don't. That's why you have to watch a video like this to get motivated. And it's okay. I had to do that for a long time. I had to do that for years, but there has to be a voice in your head that says, keep waking up, keep showing up for yourself. And something that will make the journey easier is actually working on being more present. And that does take a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. You have to actually practice being a present person. You have to actually meditate. You have to actually chew your food mindfully. You have to actually try and relax and not be on your phone all the time. All of these things bring you more into the present moment. And when you're in the present moment, you don't get sucked into the world of, I'm not good enough because I don't have $1 million in my bank account. You are sitting in your journey, and you can look at your desires and you can say, okay, those are there. That's what I'm working towards. But I'm not going to sacrifice the moment I have now to try and be in the future. When you sacrifice the moment you have now to try and be in the future, you make yourself absolutely miserable. I did this for 20 years. Everything in my life was future oriented. When I'm good enough at water polo, I'm gonna be the man. When I get my nursing degree, before nursing school, when I get into nursing school, I'm gonna be happy. Get into nursing school. When I become a nurse, finally, when I get out of this nursing school, I'm gonna be happy. Become a nurse. First job, ICU, best job I could ever think of. When I finally get that, I'll be happy. I got it. When I get to this new hospital, I'm gonna be happy. Get to the new hospital, get super sick. Because I was completely out of alignment. I was making myself miserable, telling myself that when I got these things, I'd be happy. I'd always get them, and I'd always be unhappy. It's because I couldn't sit with myself. And so in what areas of your life are you unable to sit in the tension of actually having to accept that that's your reality? And I think a huge thing about all of this whole entire video is a lot of people live in the future and they're like, yeah, this is what I really want. This is what I desire. And I ask them, what are you doing to get there? And they look at me blankly. Oh, I don't really have clarity on that. Okay, well, why don't you have clarity on that? Why haven't you thought about this already? Why are you waiting? And all of this stuff actually just comes down to limiting beliefs. The reason you could talk to a family member who had really, really deep dreams, and they tell you, I have a family member who told me one day, they said, they're usually not this vulnerable, but one day I don't know why this happened. They just told me that they had this job and they were really good at it, and they were young. They were 19, working in construction. And one day, the person who hired them tells them, hey, please come over for dinner. And you, me, and my husband can talk. And this person's like, that's kind of strange. Okay, didn't really understand. Asked the person, what do you want me to wear? Oh, it's casual, don't worry about it. So they end up going over to the dinner, and these people have everything lined up. They have the dinner. It's kind of a weird energy because this person didn't know what was going to happen, right? And then they're wondering, okay, well, why do they even have me over? The people who invited this person over essentially sit them down and say, hey, you're really good at what you do. You're incredible. My husband's actually a contractor, and you did this job faster than he could have. It looks better, and you did it cheaper. What we want to do and why we had this dinner is actually because we want to give you some money so you can invest in your business. And what ended up happening was this person did not accept the offer. And about 40 years later, this person tells me that that was their biggest regret. That they didn't believe in themselves. It felt too big. It felt too big for them, and they couldn't do it. And they didn't have the support and the voice in their head to tell them, like, you can do this. You're gonna be okay. You might fail, but let's try. And that's a family member. That's someone I know dearly, and they told me that story, and I'm like, we can't waste time. This life is so short. Don't wait until someone dies in your family for you to start taking action. Don't wait for some drastic event where you get hospitalized. Don't wait to get sick to start being healthy. Start doing it now. You know what you need to do. It's the thoughts in your head that are blocking you from doing it. It's not the tasks, it's not the to-do things. If you sit down and you write down the big goal that you have, and then you break that down into smaller tasks, you know exactly what you need to do. And when you don't know what you need to do, then you can go to people and ask for help. But other than that, the only reason these things that you want, that you desire, the only reason these things aren't getting done is because you have beliefs that are limiting you. And it's actually cutting the cord of these beliefs. If you imagine like a cork that's tied to a weight and it's underwater, all you have to do is cut the cord and the cork is going to float to the top. That's what happens when we start pulling the roots of the weeds that are in our mind and planting new seeds. That's what we have to do if we want to be successful, if we want to have a good life, if we want to step into our dream. I'll tell you this, I am living my dream life. A couple months ago, maybe a year ago, I would have said I'm still not where I want to be. There's some days where I feel that, but I'm no longer buying into that belief system that I'm not where I want to be. I am now living the life that I could barely even imagine when I was working as a nurse. My life is actually cooler than what I imagined. But when I was working as a nurse, I had a little glimmer of what this could be. It was very faint. I could barely see it. I couldn't even see it. It was a feeling. And I'm living it now. And it's way better than I thought. Remarkably better. I couldn't have imagined the cool friends that I have, the cool places I've been to, the amazing relationships I've had. Could have never imagined that. Being able to learn new languages, being able to shoot a video on my phone and make money from it. Crazy. I don't have to work for anyone. At any given point, if I run out of money or if I'm in a tight situation, I have skill sets that I can essentially do any kind of job. Like, I'm not going to go work on the oil rigs or whatever, but I have the ability to communicate myself in such a way that opportunities always open themselves to me. And all of this started with stepping into courage, with stepping into the belief that I could make something that looked so invisible and so implausible. There was a belief that I could make it happen, and that I actually had to. I had to. A lot of people just don't want it. So, are you the person who doesn't want it, or are you going to go take action right after this video? Are you just going to scroll on to the next video, watch some cat videos, or are you going to go take action and do the thing? Write down right now that one big thing that you desire more than anything else. The thing that's super scary. Don't be logical. Don't think about, oh yeah, well, it's not really plausible for me to be in a rock band. Write down exactly what it is that your heart's biggest desire knows, and just look at that and accept it. Accept that that's in your heart and go from there. If you want to know how to uproot the weeds in your mind, I highly recommend purchasing a Logos report. We have a couple options. One, you can get just the report. Two, you can get the report with a call with me. Essentially, what this report is and what it does is it allows you to see the aspects of your mind that are essentially hidden. It allows you to see the archetypes of how you show up in the world. The archetypes allow you to understand what your real purpose and where you get the most energy is. There's also a section on your superpowers. superpowers is super important to know because you can convey more value in the marketplace when you know how to articulate what you're good at. I'm a visionary. I am able to have a vision, and I have the creativity and the ideation and the ability to understand how to communicate something in such a way that people are like, oh wow, that's pretty big. And now that I know that I'm a visionary, I know that I need people to help me implement that vision. I need implementers. And because of this report, I've actually been able to find the perfect people to join my team and to save me time, money, and energy by putting the right people into place. And when you know your superpower, you can convey yourself in a way that nobody else can. If you understand this stuff, you can walk into an interview, or you can pitch a business meeting, and you can essentially tell people exactly how you are in a way that nobody else would be able to because they don't understand themselves that much. And then you're also going to know your traits. So traits are really cool because you can understand the things that need more development. So a trait, for example, would be patience. I scored very low with patience, and this whole entire year I've been working on my patience. That's why I went and did a Vipassana. For 10 days I just sat in meditation. Now if I take this score or take the test, my score will likely go up. So the Logos assessment test not only will show you the cool things like your superpowers, your childhood patterns, as well as your archetypes, it will also show you character traits over time. So if you decide to work on a character trait, you can actually go back and take the test again, and you can see if it improved. There's no other test on the market that's doing this. All the other tests, they'll tell you this is how you are, it's set in stone, and it's cookie cutter as well. You can get the same results as 7 million people. Whereas this, no one's test is the same. So if you're interested in that, click the link in my bio, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.